Good afternoon, dear partners, or shall I say good morning to our partners in North America, and probably good late evening for our partners in Asia. Let's start our monthly 1ClickFactory webinar for self-provisioning for NAV Business Central services. I am Rimvydas Saulis, Cloud Business Line Manager, and together with me is, as usual, Giedrius Kakanauskas, who's our Senior Cloud Service Specialist. So let's start our webinar. I'll try to change the slide. All right, so as usual, our webinar is on the second Wednesday of each month. So now is June 10th. We'll be doing some sort of the break during the summer months. And the next webinar will not be in July or August, because I know many of you will be taking vacations and probably the attendance rate would be pretty low. Although we'll still be working in 1ClickFactory, we'll be resolving all of your support questions, we'll be improving our portal functionality. So hopefully we'll have a lot to share with you on the next webinar as well, which would be on the 9th of September. So as said, we'll be taking a break in webinars, not in the actual work, but only in webinar during the summertime. And the next webinar will not be in July, but will be in September. So let's see. And want to remind you that please ask questions during the webinar. There's this field in the GoToWebinar application to ask questions. So don't be shy to ask questions there. We'll be taking the questions from you guys at the end of the webinar. So don't be shy, please ask questions. So today's agenda is somewhat similar with some of the new things in agenda. So firstly, Giedrius will take us through what's new in our portal functionality and other news. We'll also share with you what's in the lab, what are the plans that we are developing in the nearest future for you to get to know what will be implemented in the next releases. We'll go to the frequently asked questions that we saw recently, and we'll try to answer those frequently asked questions for you guys. We'll also take a Q&A, as I said. However, at the end of the webinar, we also want to hear your opinion. We'll be making a poll about a survey about the migration to the new SQL Server 2019. As you know, we are now using 2017's version. So Giedrius will take us through that poll with some of the impact that would make SQL Server 2019, and we'll be happy to hear your opinion on SQL Server 2019. So stay until the end, because we want to really hear your opinion on this important question. And last but not least, Giedrius will remind on our infrastructure maintenance schedule, so that you would be aware so what would be happening during this weekend. So with this, I guess I give the word to Giedrius to present what's new.
Yeah, thank you, Rimvydas. I hope you guys can hear me. So yeah, let's move to what's new first of all. During the month, although we were working on other areas as well, but what has been released, and I hope you subscribe to dashboard notifications and you have received those notifications to your emails. But basically, what we have done is we've improved, let's say, possibilities when you are setting up a new user for your customer installation. And you have more flexibility in assigning the permissions there. Let me quickly switch to my browser. Where is my browser? My browser is here. Yeah, so as you can see, I am in the customer installation users page. And if I want to create a new user for this installation, I can say that it's Amy Smith at dynamicscloud.com. Okay. Amy, and then I have a possibility to set the initial permission. So previously it was possible to just choose super permission set or no, or none, let's say, basically, yeah, no permission set. So those are the options left, but there's also possibility to copy from another user. I mean the permissions, to copy the permissions from another user. And then you can just choose that Amy should get the permission sets from Bob, for example. Yeah. And that's basically it. When you will create the user, we will copy the permissions for you, and there's no need to do that. No need to set to basically to do the setup of the permission sets for the new user. And the second thing that we have also done is also related to the permission sets. So from now on, you can basically copy the permission sets from one user to another, from one existing user to another. This was, let's say, asked pretty frequently by the partners, and it's related to the fact that yeah, some users are leaving companies, and then the other users have to take over, and they need to get the same permission sets as the previous, let's say, employee. So to copy the permission sets, once the user is created, to copy the permission sets, it's very simple. Just choose the copy permission sets from another user function here, and choose the user from which you want to get the permissions. There's also a bulk action. So it's possible to copy, let's say, permission sets from one template user to multiple users, multiple new users. For example, you are adding 10 new accountants with very specific permission sets, and you can copy those permission sets from one other accountant, basically. Yep. Good. We have also, as usual, implemented the latest NAV and Business Central CUs. Unfortunately, not all of the Business Central versions got new CUs, at least for the moment. We don't have new CUs for Business Central 13 and Business Central 16, but all of the cumulative updates that were released by Microsoft, they are already on the portal. The team has tested those, and yeah, you are welcome to use them. And the other news about the case story, Rimvidas, do you want to add something about that?
Yeah, I was just muting myself. So, well, usually we don't announce the case stories on our monthly webinars, but this time we thought that you guys may like it. So we have a new case story of a partner, Soltech, available on our website. So if you would go to our website and you would search for the case stories on our website, and you can find our case stories under the website and under the company and resources, and there's a case stories over there. So have a look at this case story of partner Soltech. I think this is a really nice case story that could help you guys to influence and to you know when talking to your customers, why our platform is basically valued by our other partners and customers. So this is I would say it's having a pretty nice words about our infrastructure from one of the complex partners that we have. So have a look at this case story, really nice one. I think you can utilize that when talking with your customers and having some arguments about the hosting platform that we are providing to you and to your customers. So I would really recommend you to have a look at that, and well, please utilize that when you are talking to your customers. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep. Let's move on to the lab. So yeah, what are we working on? As I've mentioned, there was a lot of other work that was not released for the moment, but yeah, the team is working pretty hard on some other features, and the biggest focus at the moment is the portal roles. meaning that we want to provide possibilities to the partners to be able to, let's say, limit access to certain installations only to certain users and so on and so forth, just to basically have more security options on the portal itself, not only on the customer environments. So yeah, the team is working on that, and hopefully we will have something to show to you in September. Also, the team is well, basically we are still working on the simplified AL development environment setup, so that you don't need to go through a lot of steps to get access to the development environment and start doing your work, the work that you need to focus on. Yeah. As always, we work on security improvements. A lot of stuff is going on in the background that we are not publishing, but we are hardening the security day by day, and it's let's say it's in our philosophy, in the company's philosophy, to have the security at the highest, let's say, priority. Yeah, help center improvements. Yeah, we need to provide as much let's say, learning and self-learning materials and other, let's say, training materials, so that you can quickly find answers to your questions without the need to contact our support team. Still, of course, if you need any help, don't forget that service@1clickfactory.com is your best friend. Yeah, and also we will be working on introducing some special server types with more memory, basically the same amount of CPUs, but with more memory. As always, don't forget to suggest your ideas and don't forget to vote for the ideas. And actually, that is related to one of the first FAQs. So it's not really a very FAQ. I mean, it's not very frequently asked question, but with the current situation, we understand that it can be more and more relevant to the partners. So yeah, is it possible to suspend an installation? At this moment, unfortunately not. We don't have a functionality or possibilities to suspend an installation. A customer installation, you would need to, if you want to stop the invoicing, you need to basically remove the installation. Of course, take the database backup before. But there is a suggestion by one of the partners to have that functionality, and if you basically, if you need that functionality, I would suggest to just go to the portal. Let me remind you where it is. It's on the dashboard, and there is a section most popular feature requests. If you would click on more ideas, you can vote for the ideas that other partners have suggested, or maybe you have suggested. So yeah, if that functionality is interesting to you, don't forget to vote for that idea. Good. Another FAQ is assigning access rights to a virtual machine for a customer user. So first of all, we want to be very clear that you should assign the access rights, such access rights only in, let's say, critical cases where it is absolutely mandatory and there are no other solutions. Our recommendation is always to investigate any other solutions without granting remote desktop access rights to the VM for a customer user and even for a partner user. If there's a possibility to avoid that, you should avoid that. Always follow principle of least privilege. Yeah, and also we very strongly recommend to add IP filter for remote desktop port, and to whitelist only the IP addresses that should be able to access the virtual machines through remote desktop access. Yeah. So if everything is clear with the security, then there is a functionality on the portal. We have released it several months ago, I believe, to assign those permissions. If you haven't used that yet, if you have previously used our service system, you don't have to do that anymore. Just go to the portal, choose your customer installation users, and then there is a functionality, a menu item called additional permissions. And here you can determine what kind of access rights this user needs to the virtual machines and also to the SQL database. So you can set the guest permissions through the remote desktop, and you can also set the admin permissions. Don't forget the least privilege principle, and use the functionality if it is necessary, right? Good. Another question that we got is, why am I getting notifications about invalid license? So I would like to explain some things first of all. So what we are doing, we are actually checking the license on the portal, the license that you have assigned on the portal, and also in the database to make sure that they are matching. Yeah. If the database, if the license in the database does not match, we are blocking certain portal actions for you so that you would not be able to, let's say, add new users or something like that, because usually we are then facing provisioning issues because the license does not allow adding more users or something like that. Yeah, so we want to be let's say to avoid those issues in the backend, and therefore we are blocking some actions on the portal. How does that happen? Usually it is caused by some developer or a consultant uploading a license through the old CAL development environment or even PowerShell. If you are uploading license to the database through CAL development environment or PowerShell, then we basically notice that, and then we block those actions. The way that you should change the license is using the portal. So if you need to change the customer license to a newer one, you should use the portal, the self-provisioning portal, not the development environment or PowerShell. Yeah. If you need to temporarily change the license, it depends on the situation. Maybe for development purposes, you can still change it, only change the license in the development environment instead of uploading it to the database. But yeah, if you need to permanently change the license, upload the license to the database, you should use the portal. How to fix that issue? You should just change the license once again on the portal, and the issue will be gone. We will basically detect that. We will first of all, of course, import or upload the license to the database, and then we will check that the license in the database and in the portal, the licenses match, and then yeah, the issue would be fixed. Yeah, another question that we got is how do I add more storage to my blank server? So first of all, what I would recommend is to check whether partner share or customer share could help. If the volume of the data that you need to store is not very large, then maybe partner share or customer share is a better option, because each full user gets each full user in live installations basically gets 5 gigabytes of free storage on customer share. Maybe that's enough, and you don't need any additional storage on your blank servers. If it's still needed, then yeah, we can add the storage. It's a payable service, of course, because yeah, we need to add those disks, and the price depends on the type of the blank server. For premium blank servers, the price of the storage is a little bit higher, as much as I remember. There's no functionality to do that on the portal, at least for the moment, but you can open a service ticket with us, and the team will basically gladly help you to do the changes that are needed. Okay, another question is what kind of maintenance are you performing for my databases? Are you, I don't know, rebuilding indexes, updating stats every night, or something like that? So by default, the only maintenance that we are doing on your databases is backups. We are doing the backups according to our backup policy. If you need to perform some additional maintenance, if you need index rebuilds or something like that, it is not an issue for us. We can do the setup and the setup for you, and the maintenance plans would run. But we do not want to do that automatically for you, because we don't know your application, and In some cases, rebuilding index might slow the application drastically. Therefore, yeah, if you need the index rebuild or something like that, it's not an issue. Just let us know, and we will set up the maintenance plan for you. And we are in the poll time. Good. So yeah, the question that we currently have is, when should we migrate to SQL Server 2019? Why is the question rising? We are getting more and more backups from the partners that are done on SQL Server 2019, and as you know, it is not possible to restore 2019 backup on 2017 server. All of the shared SQL servers that we are running, they are running on SQL Server 2017 for the moment. We've done migration from 2016, I believe a couple of years ago, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, why it is needed to upgrade? I believe more and more databases will be coming from 2019. The provisioning fails, and then our team needs to contact you, and then we have to find out ways how to provision your solution. So yeah, it takes time, and yeah, let's say the experience is not the best, I would say. So we want to avoid that, and eventually we will have to let's say upgrade to 2019, but the question is when. Yeah. For the moment, the newest Business Central version is released with SQL Express 2016 in the installation media, but I believe in the following versions we will definitely see SQL Express 2019 in the installation media. So yeah, we will have more and more databases like that. What's the impact of the migration? Well, first of all, the backups that you will take, they will be in SQL 2019, which means that you will need SQL 2019 to restore the backup. Yeah, so when you are requesting database backup on the portal, downloading it to let's say your own hardware. If you need to restore the backup, you need SQL 2019. There is the possibility to do downgrade of that backup, but the process is pretty long, I would say. You would still need to restore it on 2019. You would need to export the application basically to a backpack file, and then import it on 2017 SQL Server. So yeah, it takes time. It's resource consuming because yeah, even small databases, even for small databases, that kind of exercise is resource consuming, especially on the CPU and memory side. Yeah, but of course the positive impact is all the greatest in technology from Microsoft, all the performance improvements that they have done in 2019, and so on and so forth. So yeah, with this, I would like to start the poll and to get let's say your answers. When do you think we should migrate to SQL 2019? Whether it should be within 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months, or maybe later. The majority has voted for yeah, within 6 months. So most probably we will have some work to do in autumn. Good. Thank you very much for the responses. And yeah, then the last thing from me for the moment is to remind you about the infrastructure maintenance that we will be performing. So yeah, you can find your regions here. You can see the schedule here. One reminder that I would like to do is the West Europe region, because when we will be doing the maintenance, the infrastructure maintenance in this region, we will be taking the portal down, so the portal will not be available at that moment. The partners who have their dedicated private regions have received individual emails with the schedule of the maintenance in those regions.
Thank you for watching and listening to today's webinar. I hope you learned some interesting features that we have implemented during the last release. please pay attention and make sure you are aware about the maintenance schedule that affects your customers in a certain region, so that wouldn't be any surprises for you. Well, we haven't asked any questions today, so don't be shy, or there's no problem to ask questions on the email or in the service system request. So that is always on. Yeah, we'll meet you on the webinar on September 9th. So have a great, safe and sunny summer, and we'll see you later then. Thank you for participating here. Bye.